Have you ever found yourself in a situation, you're talking to somebody, and you wonder, who is this person? Who are you? It could be somebody who you've just met. In that case, it's understandable that you really don't know who the person is, but you can tell sometimes when people are pretending, putting forth an identity like a mask, or hiding an identity like a mask. And sometimes it's surprising that the person you're talking to or dealing with is somebody you've known for quite some time, a family member, a friend, or a colleague who's suddenly acting differently to the expectations you have of them. Somebody who is not living up to the expectations of who you thought they were. And sometimes it's the realization that they weren't pretending, that you were just projecting on them an identity that you wanted them to have, rather than letting them be the person that they are. Sometimes we wear masks, sometimes we put masks on other people. There's another meaning for mask that occurred to me this past little while, and I was wondering about. It's related to masking tape. Masking tape is putting on a mask for an area that you want to obscure completely, to block out. Usually it's because we want to protect an area when we're painting it or some other thing, but the masking is really a hiding completely. How many things do we want to hide in life? How many things do we want to hide behind in life? I think that's the way it is by the very nature of our human nature. All of our existence is really an experience that we have within ourselves, that we're separated from the rest of the world, and we only experience it through the extent that we reach out into the world to see it, to touch it, to embrace it, to taste it, to experience it. But ultimately, the experiences we have are within. Part of our challenge is to remember that we're doing this, to remembering that we're creating within, and oftentimes not allowing ourselves to see what's there, limiting our scope through what we want to perceive rather than what we're capable of perceiving. We live in a time where our understanding of what can be perceived, what can be experienced, is expanding. We live in a time where we understand a universe that is, maybe 14 billion years old, maybe more than that. Certainly a very long time compared to our short human existence. And it covers vast distances, certainly bigger than the scope of what we can see or hear. But it challenges us to open ourselves and to see what's there. Sometimes I find myself, particularly when I'm in nature, gobsmacked, thrown back into a sense of awe, and my heart is opened by the expansiveness of all there is. Usually it's when I can get out of my head. Usually when I look up and see just what's in front of me. And in those moments I feel less separated, less disconnected, less masked, of being vulnerable to my own smallness, my own finiteness, and being in awe and appreciating that I'm part of a whole that is far, far beyond me, far, far beyond my ability to even understand. And it is in knowing that I'm connected, a part of that greater whole, that I find peace. May you find that peace as well. If you ever found yourself in a situation when you're talking to somebody and you're thinking this person isn't being real, or this person is being phony, this person is just trying to chat me up, this person is just trying to sell me something, the feeling that you don't really know who this person is, and you have the sense that they're hiding who they might be and trying to project an image, wearing a mask to hide from you, and wearing a mask to project onto you what they wish you to see. Sometimes it's even more surprising when you find yourself in that circumstance, but you're with a family member or somebody you've known for a long time, a friend or a colleague, and suddenly it occurs to you, I don't think I really know who you are. Or maybe I thought I knew you once, but you've changed. You're not that same person. And the instinct is to think, did I ever really know you? And sometimes it's worthwhile asking the question, is who I thought that this person was it a projection of who I wanted them to be, and really just a projection of my own desires? It's a difficult situation to be in, but it's part of our human nature, that we interact with the world that is outside of us, and we make all our interpretations and inferences and understandings from completely within. It's part of who we are, part of the limits of our own biology. There's another sense of the word mask that has been causing me to think lately, and that's the meaning of the word mask that's associated with masking tape. We use masking tape to protect an area, usually when we're painting or doing something messy, where we want to cover off one space so that we don't get any paint or spray or splatter on something, and then we can remove the mask later to reveal what was without any danger. But nevertheless, it's a meaning of the word mask that is really about hiding. And it makes me wonder, to what extent do we seek to hide things, to obscure things so we don't have to look at them? Do we hide things from our perceptions, or do we hide our own needs in perceiving? Do we hide from things that we can't deal with within? Do we hide from difficult memories? Do we hide from trauma? Do we hide from truths that might cause us to question everything? Do we actively choose not to perceive, not to believe? We live in a time where our ability to perceive, to understand as human beings is vastly, vastly expanded over what it was even 3 generations ago. We live in a time where the very concept of time has grown huge. We live in a time where our understanding of the age of our universe is on the order of 14 billion years old, maybe even older. We live in a time where that time scale is completely imperceptible. We can't understand that based on our own lifetime expanse of just a few years, a heartbeat, really, in the lifespan of the universe. We live in a time when the concept of the size of things, the size of our universe, has vastly expanded. Far, far beyond our ability to understand. I find that amazing. It fills me with awe. I love awe. It makes me realize how small I am. When I'm out in nature, probably more so than other times, I have times where I'm thrown back, thrown into that sense of awe and wonder, almost as if seeing things for the first time, as a child might see them, making me feel in a visceral way of just how small I am, how limited I am in the context of everything around me. Yet it's in those times, in that feeling of vulnerability. The other side is the understanding that I'm connected to that whole. I'm part of that whole. All that I am, all that I ever have been, all that I ever will be, is part of that infinite whole, that oneness. And it is in realizing that there is only that one that I find peace. May you find that peace as well.